What's up you guys, Mo Awesome from Awesome MTB and welcome to the Awesome MTB Trail Bike Buyer's Guide. The Transition literally is a monster truck. I think this is going to be the future of mountain bikes. Oh my god. What's up you guys, Mo Awesome from Awesome MTB and welcome back to the Awesome MTB Trail Bike Buyer's Guide. Over the last few months, we've been testing out 11 of the best trail bikes on the market. Now these are going to be 29ers with 140 to 150 millimeters of travel. And even though there's 11 bikes in this test, each one of these bikes has a very unique personality. And we're here to help make the purchase of your next bike a lot easier by giving you all of the information. In today's video, we have probably one of the most exciting bikes in this test. This is going to be the brand new Transition Sentinel. Throughout the entire test, I was teasing a bunch of stuff on social media. This is the one bike we weren't able to tease because it wasn't even out yet. And yeah, now that it's out, I think a lot of people are going to be very curious in how the Transition Sentinel compares to the other bikes in this test. So what is the Transition Sentinel? Once again, you guys, this is the updated version. We have 150 millimeters of travel in the rear, 160 millimeters of travel up front. We have giddy up suspension, and we have a few things throughout the build that I truly think are going to be revolutionary to trail bikes. I feel like Transition is one of those companies that when they release a bike, they're kind of setting the standard for the rest of the industry to follow. And I feel like with the Sentinel, you're going to have a lot of trends I think you're going to start seeing the market shift towards. Now, a little about the Transition Sentinel I've been testing. This is a size extra large frame. I'm 6'2" for reference with an 805 saddle height, and this thing fits me like a glove. In terms of geo-adjust, this bike does feature a flip chip, so you can actually run this bike in the high or the low setting. And this bike is also mullet compatible. Up front, we have a Fox 36 with 160 millimeters of travel and a Grip X2 dampener, and in the rear we have a Fox Float X. For the dropper post, we have the brand new Fox Transfer dropper post with 240 millimeters of travel. Up front, we have one-up carbon handlebars with ODI grips. For stopping power, we have SRAM Maven brakes, and these are the silver edition with pad contact adjustment. For wheels, we have DT Swiss XM481 wheel set with a 350 rear hub. Up front, we have a Maxxis Assegai, and in the rear, we have a Minion DHR2. Now, this bike does have internal frame storage, and it does so in a very unique way, and I feel like it solved a problem that I didn't even know was a problem. Now this bike is coming in at a little over 34 pounds with pedals, so this is going to be one of the heavier bikes in this test. However, with that being said, it's also probably going to be one of the most capable when it comes time for the downhills. Now we'll talk about what I think about this bike a little bit later on, but for now, let's hit the trails and show you guys how this thing does out there.
What's up you guys? Hopefully you're enjoying today's video. Just want to take a quick second and thank today's video sponsor, and that is Blue Yeti. Now they recently sent over their Hands-Free One backpack, the ultimate solar backpack power station. Now the Hands-Free One backpack is an innovative backpack solar power system which gives you portable energy solutions integrated in a 42-liter outdoor backpack and a solar panel all in one. One of the cool features is the ability to free up your hands now while charging your products on the go, whatever the adventure is. You can charge 5 devices simultaneously, whether it be your drones, controllers, cameras, smartphones, or laptop. The Hands-Free One backpack has you covered. This backpack is also super comfortable to wear, featuring Blue Yeti's Mole system and quick access design. Now Mole stands for Modular Lightweight Load Carrying Equipment System, and it ensures optimal weight distribution and comfort, including load-bearing belts, shoulder and chest straps, waist belts, back panel supports, and waist pads for scientific pressure distribution. The backpack's quick access side openings are perfectly aligned with the power output ports, allowing for easy charging on the go. Meanwhile, the U-shaped opening is designed for optimal ventilation, so you can charge safely and conveniently without worrying about overheating. An ideal companion for outdoor photography, camping, hiking, climbing, etc. You can also rest assured knowing your gear is safe with plenty of cushioning for cameras and accessories. It also features external attachment systems to let you easily easily carry extra gear as well, whether it's tripods or jackets. The shoulder straps also come with a GoPro camera buckle. You can also charge the hands-free one super quickly too with both solar as well as AC options. The AC option allows for 80% charge in 45 minutes and full charge within 1.5 hours at a maximum power of 300 watts. Stay powered up and get ready to go with the hands-free one backpack. This is such a cool, unique product, and I think a lot of people are going to be very stoked on it. We're going to go ahead and link this backpack in the description of the video, as well as some awesome Blue Yeti Black Friday promotions. Huge thank you to Blue Yeti for sponsoring this video and making these videos possible. And with that being said, let's get back into the review.
We're back with another bike review today, the brand new Transition Sentinel. This is the infamous waterfall section you guys all know and love. Nice. My God, so much control through this tech. Now we got a little bit of slow speed tech through this waterfall, and this is where the Transition Sentinel, with their slightly higher BB approach, really comes into play. As you guys could tell, super stable through that. And we have a little bit more tech down here. The longer chainstays that the Sentinel has in comparison to some other bikes in this test, combined with that higher BB, give you the nimbleness you want through that tech, but also the freaking stability. It's very easy to drop the bottom bracket and lengthen chainstays and just get like a rocket downhill bike park bike. However, when it comes time for techier regions like Sedona and Phoenix, I feel like those bikes tend to suffer a little bit there, where I could tell Transition really went for a universally well-rounded bike. For instance, someone who has South Mountain in Phoenix as their backyard might be looking for something a little bit different than Bellingham, Washington. Raising that BB slightly makes those tech climbs a little bit more manageable, but also makes downhill line choice, as you'll see in a little bit as well too, super easy. Just helps with the precision of the bike, but you still get that high speed stability through a slightly longer chainstay. There is still gonna be a lot of people out there that are primarily focused with high speed stability, and that's where this trail comes into play. There is that 64-degree head angle up front and those longer stays, plus the giddy up suspension. As you guys could tell, this thing is insane. My God, I'm so happy I'm not on an XC bike right now. Although the Spur, that is when I first fell in love with Transitions and how they ride. Right through the chunk. How's it going, man? Have a good one. Keep reaching for the Sentinel on my fun rides. Those are rides where I have no idea where I'm going. I just know I'm gonna get rowdy and I'm probably gonna be out all day. It has this adventurous feeling to it. I've often found myself bringing my hydration pack rather than just the bottle, because I'm not sure how long I'll be out. And through tech climbs like that, like I said, this reminds me a little bit of the Pivot Switchblade when it comes to preciseness as well as line choice. But man, oh my God, those corners are good. Now, not as nimble as the Switchblade through those corners, because like I said, you do have a longer chainstay on here. I feel like the Switchblade does tighter corners a little bit better. But like I said, you guys, this I feel like is supposed to be that one bike quiver where you can have a bike for desert season, also take it into bike park. Now generating speed here, not even gonna pedal, just gonna pump with the trail. Pretty good, I will say. The Sentinel definitely, I feel like, soaks up some trail features a little bit more so than necessarily generating speed. And so I feel like for bigger hits, that's where that comes into play. Once again, you guys, the biggest thing that I feel like sums up the Sentinel is adventure. I literally feel like no matter what the trail is, I have a bike that's gonna be able to handle whatever I throw at it. And like the really awkward line choice that car rack gives us, man, that combination of stability mixed with nimbleness and precision is, I think, what sets the Sentinel apart from a lot of other bikes out there. I feel like this section right here is what really sums up the Sentinel, is when things get rowdy and you gotta pick your line carefully, but at the same time have that control. The Sentinel is right there with all of the stability you need and the peace of mind knowing you can actually pick your way down things. There's the car. God, the Sentinel is such a capable bike. Let's get back and talk about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that riding footage on the Transition Sentinel. Once again, you guys, I can't say this enough. Transition is one of those companies that sets the bar in terms of where market standards should be. And I feel like you're gonna start seeing a lot of trail bikes head in this direction. So the first thing that I absolutely love about the Transition Sentinel is the Geo. I feel like Transition absolutely nailed making a bike that's gonna perform really well in a wide variety of trails. It would be really easy to just lower the bottom bracket, slacken out the front head angle, and call it a day. Bikes like that do ride really well, and they're very stable at high speed, especially on terrain where it's not very technical. However, in places like Moab or the desert, I feel like on steeper technical terrain, you get a little bit less control of your line choice, and I feel like this is a perfect blend of both worlds. So Transition actually went a little bit steeper on the head angle with the Sentinel this year, so you have a 64-degree head angle, you have a little bit of a longer chainstay, you have a little bit of a higher stack height. I think what Transition realizes, if you have a slack front end and you go a little bit longer on that chainstay, you're gonna get a lot of high-speed stability. But when you pair that high-speed stability with a little bit of a higher bottom bracket and a little bit of a higher stack height, now you get the perfect blend of both worlds. You're gonna have that high-speed stability to keep this bike very planted to the ground, but at the same time too, on places like Moab or the desert, you're gonna have a lot more control over your line choice with that higher stack height and a slightly higher BB. And I feel like this is gonna be something that you're gonna see a lot of other companies start following suit in the future. I feel like bikes have gotten to a point that they're so long in the front and front head angles have gone slacker, then now you're definitely gonna benefit from going a little bit higher on the BB and a little bit higher on the stack height to make sure that no matter where you're riding, you have a very capable do-everything bike. Another thing that I love about this bike is how that suspension feels, because even though it's very active and you get a lot of traction support on technical terrain, at the same time too, it still has a poppy, playful feel to it. So you're able to play around on the trails and pop in and out of corners. And yeah, I really did like how the giddy up suspension feels. Another thing that I absolutely love about the Transition Sentinel is how burly this frame feels. Once again, you guys, there's 11 other bikes in this test falling in the 140 to 150 millimeter travel category. And I feel like this was one of the bikes in the test that you actually get some added confidence from how burly this frame feels. I also think aesthetically, it looks really awesome. The lines are super clean, and I love this white paint job. Another thing that I really loved about the Transition Sentinel was that internal frame storage. Every now and then I'll realize there's a problem that I didn't even know was a problem, and throughout this entire test, I've tried a lot of internal frame storage options, and I've actually had to use it quite a bit. You'll get mechanicals out on the trails, and by the time you dig into the internal frame storage and you figure out what to do with your actual water bottle, there's dirt all over your bottle, you're struggling to get in there, all the air is eventually let out of your tire, so it was really nice not having to mess around with the water bottle to get into the frame. I feel like that's something that you don't really consider is, okay, what do you do with your bottle? I know Transition did so from a reliability perspective. You don't want your bottle to be on the latch and kind of all that stress on there. But I actually think one of the benefits for me was actually not having to take my bottle off the bike when I needed to get into that storage. Another thing that I absolutely loved about the Transition Sentinel was that suspension feel in the last part of its travel. This definitely feels like one of the more bottomless bikes out of this test. Once again, you guys, I do feel like Transition makes bikes that they want to ride. I feel like a lot of their employees get pretty rowdy, and this was definitely one of the bikes that inspired the most confidence, especially when things got completely out of hand out on the trail. Now let's talk about some stuff that I don't necessarily love about the Transition Sentinel. Once again, you guys, this is definitely gonna be one of the more burly style frames out of the test, and I feel like if you're a weight weenie out there, do you feel like there's gonna be some other bikes in this test that you're gonna have a little bit of an easier time getting to a lighter weight? This definitely gives you a little bit of added confidence from how burly this frame is, but I would say overall, there are gonna be some lighter weight options out here, albeit they're not gonna be as capable as this bike on the descents, but that is something to keep in mind for your weight weenies out there. I do also think that the initial stroke is going to be a little bit more active on this bike. Now that's going to be amazing for more technical terrain as well as technical climbs. However, if you're a rider out there that's looking for the most pedaling efficient platform out there, you might find yourself reaching for the lockout a little bit more often on the Sentinel, opposed to some other bikes in this test. But other than that, there wasn't too much that I didn't love about how this bike did out on the trails, and I could seriously see some epic adventures all over the country, if not all over the world, on the Transition Sentinel. Now, some notes about the actual build itself. So this actually came stock with 165 mil cranks, even on the extra large. Now, I've been talking to a lot of people about crank lengths, and obviously going with a shorter crank length is going to give you a little bit more control over the rear end of the bike, and I do see the industry heading in that direction of shorter crank lengths. I think I still prefer 170, if not 175, so yeah, I didn't really necessarily like the 165 cranks. I love the Fox 36 up front with the Grip X2. I love that this bike comes with 1-up carbon handlebars, because I truly do think these are the best carbon handlebars in the market. I love the SRAM Maven silver brakes, and I really do like that Fox transfer dropper apropos. The new updated version with 240 millimeters of travel, I feel like it's much smoother than the older one. Now I'm gonna link this entire build as well as how I would personally build up my Transition Sentinel in the description of this video. So who is the Transition Sentinel for? I feel like the Transition Sentinel is the ultimate one bike quiver if you're the type of rider that really likes to ride gnarly terrain, but at the same time too, you wanna make sure that you can get to the top of the trail and not be fully gassed out. This is gonna be one of the most capable bikes when it comes time for the downhills. I feel like you're gonna be able to handle so many different downhills out there, and it's also gonna be perfect for a wide variety of areas. So if you're in the desert and say you're riding South Mountain or you're riding something like Moab, this bike's gonna do very well out there. You're gonna have a very capable platform and a lot of line control. But if you head up to the PNW or even BC, you're gonna be able to ride a lot of those trails knowing that you have a very high speed, stable bike. And then most importantly, I feel like you're also gonna be able to take this bike into the bike park and not feel like you're overly abusing this bike. Now, how did the Transition Sentinel stack in comparison to the other bikes in this buyer's guide? You guys are gonna have to wait for the conclusion of this video series, which is coming out in a few days. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any of those videos. If you guys have any questions about the Transition Sentinel, definitely let us know in the comment section if we didn't touch on it in this video. And until next time, you guys, ride awesome. You.